Okay, picture this. It's June 2024. Taylor Swift is an absolute undisputed juggernaut on the global charts, right? I mean, she's literally dictating listening habits everywhere. But then, over in the Philippines, this massive cultural earthquake happens. A local underdog, an 8-member girl group, actually does the unthinkable and dethrones a global pop titan. Seriously, how does a regional act pull off something that seems, well, completely impossible? Well, the answer is totally in the numbers. They became the very first Filipino act to ever hit that coveted #1 spot on the Spotify Philippines Daily Top Artist chart. And beating out international megastars on a daily tracking chart, that isn't just about having a catchy song. It requires this unprecedented, fiercely synchronized streaming volume from a really, really dedicated local fan base. They basically just threw out the rulebook and completely rewrote the rules of engagement. So, in today's Explainer, we are breaking down this historic pop culture phenomenon. We're going to take a deep dive into BINI, famously dubbed the nation's girl group, and the absolute force of nature standing right behind them, their fiercely loyal fandom, known as Bloom. Let's get into it and see exactly how a grassroots community helped catapult 8 young women into some truly historic global milestones. All right, Section 1, the P-pop revolution begins. Now, BINI definitely didn't just magically appear out of thin air overnight. The foundation of their insane success was built through some seriously brutal, rigorous training. Under ABS-CBN's Star Hunt Academy, these girls endured years of an intensive idol bootcamp. And get this, a lot of it happened right during the pandemic lockdowns. The group itself is made up of 8 incredibly talented members: Aya, Colette, Malloy, Gwen, Stacy, Miha, Joanna, and Sheena. By uniting their wonderfully diverse regional backgrounds under this core musical style of really vibrant, empowering bubblegum pop, they practically willed themselves into becoming the nation's girl group. And they are truly the vanguard of P-pop right now. If you're not familiar, P-pop is Philippine popular music that takes the hyper-polished, rigorous global standards of idol performance, the intense choreography, the crazy vocal stamina, and it flawlessly blends all of that with deep indigenous cultural identity. BINI has managed to elevate local talent to world-class production levels, and honestly, it's set the stage for a massive cultural shift. Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the Bloom vandal. To really understand this meteoric rise, we have to look at why fans are just so intensely obsessed with them. Looking at insights directly from the community over on Reddit, fans note that BINI is leading a revolution simply because of their unfiltered authenticity and what locals affectionately call canal humor. For those outside the culture, canal humor literally translates to street gutter humor. Basically, it means they are unapologetically street level, unfiltered, loud, and just incredibly relatable. They act way more like your chaotic best friends than untouchable, distant idols. And that genuine nature birthed the fandom ultimate rallying cry, Walo Hanggang Dulo, which translates to 8 until the end. It's this vow of absolute, fiercely protective loyalty. And that authenticity, it created an absolute demographic powerhouse. Blooms are incredibly diverse. Crucially, you've got these former K-pop stans who have migrated over to P-pop, and they brought all their hardcore organizational skills with them. We're talking the charting strategies, the massive coordinated streaming parties, the super aggressive voting mechanics. Then you add in longtime OPM enthusiasts, working professionals, mobilized students, and you get a united, unstoppable front. Actually, by the way, if you are part of this movement, I definitely want to hear from you. Drop your absolute favorite, most relatable BINI moment down in the comments right now. Moving right along to Section 3, smashing charts and arenas. With a fandom mobilized like that, the real-world results are just staggering. Just look at this number, 3. In November 2024, BINI achieved the historic, mind-blowing feat of selling out 3 consecutive nights at the legendary Araneta Coliseum. Now, in Philippine culture, the Big Dome is a historic, massively prestigious venue. So for a local girl group to command that kind of overwhelming off-the-charts ticket demand over a multi-day stretch, that is pure testament to a fandom that simply refuses to let their idols perform to a single empty seat. But wait, because they leveled up in a way that truly broke the industry. By February 2025, BINI became the very first Filipino act to ever hold a sold-out concert at the Filipino Arena. Guys, that is the world's largest indoor arena. We are talking about over 50,000 seats. A local group backed by a grassroots local fandom selling out 50,000 seats at the biggest indoor venue on the planet. It's just wild. Welcome to Daily Trends Drop, your ultimate source for the biggest shifts in global pop music and pop culture. Hit that subscribe button and drop in on the conversation. All right, let's jump into Section 4, taking over the world. Because the momentum definitely did not stop at the Philippine borders, it turned into this absolutely insane global trajectory. In November 2024, driven by these massive, highly coordinated fan voting campaigns, BINI actually became the first Filipino group to win Best Asia Act at the MTV Europe Music Awards. Fast forward to May 2025, and their cultural impact officially landed them on the prestigious Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list. And then, the ultimate global stage. April 2026, BINI made history as the first all-Filipino group to ever perform at Coachella, literally sharing the stage with heavyweights like Sabrina Carpenter. And around that exact same time, they were honored with the Billboard Women in Music Global Force Award. And let's be real, none of this global escalation happens without Bloom streaming, voting, and fiercely championing them on the world stage. Which takes us to our final section, Section 5, the new fandom blueprint. This brings us to a super fascinating analysis of where pop culture is at today. When we think of legendary global fan bases, our minds naturally go straight to ARMY for BTS or Blinks for Blackpink. And those are highly coordinated, massive-scale global titans that often operate like these incredible top-down, hyper-polished corporate machines. But Bloom, they operate with a totally different energy. They absolutely bring that intense K-pop level of coordination, but it's completely fueled by this raw, bottom-up P-pop energy. It's built on this incredibly protective, almost family-like connection to the girls. As one community member pointed out perfectly, the new generation of fans values talent, authenticity, and kindness. Fans can easily spot inauthenticity from a mile away. Look, we are living in a modern music era that is heavily dominated by AI, algorithmic perfection, and these super heavily curated personas. Fans are basically starving for genuine human connection. And Blooms? They heavily reward the unpretentious, real nature of BINI. They're actually actively influencing how modern idols are managed right now, demanding that their artists are allowed to be authentic, a little chaotic, and fundamentally human. So we've tracked the explosive rise, the unbelievable record-breaking 50,000-seat arenas, and the massive international awards, all of it fueled by this undeniable, highly organized fan power. Which leaves us with one massive, really provocative question. Is Bloom becoming the next global superfandom? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the trends that shape our world.